Hello and welcome to Project Home DIY. I'm Christine Gloat, the owner and founder and curator of Project Home DIY. So glad to have you with us, and I think I say this every single month, but October, seriously? Well, it's here whether we like it or not, and we may as well bring it in with a little bit of decor that kind of gets to be able to bring in your own personal memories with photos and your own personal style with how you get to finish this. So it's going to be a super fun kit to be able to put together. And look at all the pieces. Like, holy cow, there's so much here and so many different ways to be able to do this. Let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to do a mix of paint and stain because everything I designed this month is so versatile. It comes apart. The candlesticks come apart, if you didn't notice, but they're kind of two separate pieces. So this makes it super easy to be able to paint and stain all the separate pieces. So the pieces of your embroidery hoops, obviously those come apart. Your picture frame came apart, and we also included the tools to be able to put it back together. Everything's pre-drilled. We have anchor nuts in the bottom of things. Like, we've just made it super simple and easy to be able to paint these two different colors. So I'm going to go with, remember, I have to do something basic that everybody's going to enjoy in the video. So I always love when I get to see your guys' creations in our VIP group, because they're like the most amazing colors, like yellow and gold and like navy and, or not yellow and gold, sorry, navy and gold, or like some pretty sage green colors, all sorts of stuff. So I really look forward to the VIP group and what you guys get to do. But I'm going to take aged beryl. It's a Minwax stain. This is an oil-based stain. And I'm going to stain part of the kit, and I'm also going to paint part of the kit ivory or just an off-white. Keep it kind of simple and just traditional kind of all year long decor that can just be set up in the corner of a shelf or tabletop. So that's where I'm going with mine. I'm just going to separate out the pieces and just get started painting and staining each piece. So you're just going to watch me along as I go, and then I'm going to let the pieces dry, and we'll put it, assemble it together and go from there. But before we start painting, make sure that your glue gun is on. And with the riser piece, so this is your base. Holy cow, it's a hunk of wood. In this little, I guess, I don't know, crevice here, this is where beads go, just to provide a little bit of an accent. So I'm going to take and dump the beads out, and you can glue in the beads just like this into that crevice. So I do have my hot glue plugged in. I'm going to unplug it for a second. But if you just put a little hot glue in and press those beads in there, don't do too much hot glue at a time, but the beads go side by side, just like as if you're stringing them on there. Cover up the hole and press those in there. This will just give a little bit of an accent on that wood piece. So go ahead and do that before you paint. Once you're done with that, then you can paint the base how you want, but go put the wood beads in first, unless you choose to do the wood beads in a different color. Then wait and do it after you have your base painted. But first, if you're going to do the wood beads and the base in one color, put the wood beads in. Okay, so I've separated out my pieces. I'm going to stain and paint. So I'm going to start with the staining. For staining, I'm just using this Minwax oil-based stain. It is kind of stinky, so if you have some smell issues, make sure you're in a good, well-ventilated room. Took apart the picture frame. I'm going to stain this, paint the part, paint the base of this, paint one base of the candle, stain one base and one top, vice versa. So, but I can also swap around the candlestick. So if I want all of this stained and not stain paint, then I can swap them out when I'm done too. So set those to the side. This is the stuff I'm going to stain. So take apart the hoops. This is bamboo wood. So we'll see how well it stains. I don't love the silver metal, but don't worry about that because once we place it in our decor setting, once we've built the orbs and place them in our decor setting, you won't be able to see the hoop or the metal because we'll have it placed on the bottom. So don't worry too much about that. I can't stain over the metal really, so not something that you'll see much of anyway. So don't worry too much. Just looking to get something to open my stain. For staining, I just cut apart a washcloth rag. You can use any old t-shirt, any sort of rag. You don't need anything special. Important part is to make sure your stain is shaken. Nope, it's not yet. So you can see right here, I just shook the can. I didn't stir it up. So I need to make sure I stir it. And looks like I'm going to use the bottom of a paintbrush. And let me show you. That's why we stir. There's a whole bunch of pigment in the bottom there that has separated. So let's get that out. And it should be more of a gray. When you do stain, make sure you cover your tabletop. You can also create a faux stain with any kind of paint. Just water it down and wipe it on just like this. Now you can see we have a pigment, a real pigment to that stain. I'm gonna wipe this off. I always wear gloves staining. Now my paintbrush is stained. That's cute. The handle. Okay, so now it's good. And there's the difference. Huge difference. So make sure that you mix your stain well. And for staining, you just wipe it on. I've never gotten very technical with staining. I think you can. I don't think it's necessary. I've done hundreds and hundreds and probably thousands of things stained. I don't think it's very necessary to get crazy about it. It's very simple. Wipe it on. If you get too much on, it'll puddle, and wipe off with a dry rag if you need to. But if you just keep going over it, you shouldn't have too many issues with too much stain. Yeah, I'm wiping that wood or that metal piece off. I don't really want any stain on that. And don't have any puddling, and it's all even. So that piece is stained. I do have a small space heater down here. I just turned this on. There's a little bit of heat. And I face it towards all of my stained or painted items. While I'm doing the video, it just helps them dry a little bit faster. But even if I wasn't doing the video, I would still do that because I'm impatient and I like things to dry faster. So that's how my trick of how to get them to dry faster. Put them in some hot air. Okay, I'll finish staining. Make sure you close up your stain container well. And then easy cleanup, just use some paper and throw it all away, including your stain rag. Don't save those as they can combust and cause a fire, so be careful with that. Let's see. So now I'm just going to paint the base parts of the wood and some of the other pieces. Save the glass and that. Here's the picture frame. Set that to the side. And let those dry. So just paint and dry. Maybe you painted all yours. Maybe you're just doing part of it, but I'm doing paint and stain. So easiest way to get in these beads, dab. Get them filled in like that. Just dab. And then you can smooth it out. Okay, got some of my pieces ready to go. I'm going to assemble the embroidery orbs. So the way these work is there's a 6-inch and a 4-inch hoop. The 4 6-inch ones we'll use for one orb. The 4-inch ones we'll use for another orb. Okay, take your 4-inch hoops. The two with the clasp we'll work with second. The two that are completed circles we will work with first. So place them into one another just like this. So it's kind of like an X. They're not full 90-degree angles. We're at like 45, so it's like an X. Take one of the embroidery hoops with a clasp and open it up so it can fit around the center of both of those hoops, right in the middle, and then tighten it up. Okay, and you can move it a little bit if you need to place it. Okay, it looks great with 3. If you want to leave it with 3, you can leave it with just 3 on there. I'm going to open this one a bit more because it's got to get all the way around all of them. And it's going to crisscross the original X ones. And I'm going to try and keep the clasp on the same side as the other clasp as well, because then when I set it down in my decor, I can kind of hide it. Let me take that off again. Okay, so I have my X ones in there. There they are. The first, oh, sorry, hang on, here they are, right here. There's my X ones. Then I put in the first clasp. Now I'm putting in the second. It's going to split this section in half right there. Still all pieces gather here, all pieces gather here, and then they're evenly spaced throughout the whole orb. And then just tighten. And then you can move pieces around as needed. So that is one of the orbs. If you want, you can take hot glue and dab some hot glue in those little edges just to keep them from popping apart. If they do, I'm not seeing any trouble here. I don't believe they will. So I think they're totally fine. And see how I place those silver clasps on the bottom? You don't even see them. So let's do the second one. Closed hoops, Make an X. Put everything in the center. Oops. And essentially, with your X, you're going to have a clasp here and a clasp one go here. So we'll open these suckers up. We want one to go all the way around the center. I think no matter which way you put these together, they look great. So there is a second one. Make it a little bit more. Bring those to the center, bring these together. Okay, so there are the orbs. They're all put together. And then I have pretty simple assembly for the rest of it, which is so awesome because this year we're going simple. So we have our bases, and I'm just going to screw those on to the bottom of the candles. There's that one. If you want to do a little bit of sanding, you can do that. Some sandpaper might work better, easier to get into the crevices on these, but not really super necessary. There's that one. This one I did the opposite. Paint and stain, stain and paint. If you don't like it, if you end up not liking it, we can always swap these out. And I might do that. So there's a white one. And here's a stain one. Just depends on what we like. Either way, here's the base of the riser. Just screw that right on. Super easy. Look how quick this is all coming together. Trying to get these heights right for you to be able to see it all. Okay, last part. Go ahead and put in our glass. I'm probably going to get, actually, if you want to sand the frame at all, sand it first. Okay, sanded the frame, made just a little bit of wear, worn look. I can do the same on this part. Okay, then probably put in your picture, but I don't have mine, so I'm just going to go with that right now. Close the clasps back up on the back, and then we can assemble the picture frame using the screws provided with the Allen wrench. These are called Allen wrenches. We'll just take those screws, place them in the outside, and take the Allen wrench, but we're going to use the Phillips part of the screw and place those right in there. Make sure not to over tighten or else it could possibly not swing. You don't want that. Okay, there's one. These are pre-drilled holes with anchor nuts inside, so super easy to do and put together. Okay, there's my frame. If you don't like the silver screws, take your paint and dab a little bit on it, just like that. You don't have to see those, it kind of blends them in a little bit. Just like that. But there is the completed October project with our candlesticks and our riser and our orbs. For the candlesticks, you can place any type of candle on the top. Just this greenery can go in different places, but as you can see, just lots of different ways to be able to use and display this month's project. Fun little wicker orbs to go on the top, or it's fall, we can put some little pumpkins on here, all sorts of stuff. So enjoy what you have to create here, and can't wait to see everybody's projects in the VIP group. So let me jump back around here, and we'll see you next time with Project Home DIY. Make sure to join our VIP group if you're brand new, so you can see the many different ways that people have displayed this kit. We'll see you next time, and it will be November. I can't believe it. Have a good creative time, and thanks for joining us. See you later.